Reeves Immigration Law Group now brings you immigration law on your side.
Magandang gabi mga kababayan. Ito po na naman ang Immigration Law on your side. Hatid po sa inyo ng Reeves Immigration Law Group. Meron po silang opisina sa Los Angeles area, San Francisco, Makati at saka sa China. Pwede niyo pong tawagan ng ating mga kaibigan sa Reeves Immigration Law Group sa 1-800-795-8009. Mga kababayan, habang karamihan po sa atin ay mga nasa bahay pa rin, ang inyong PHLV radio ay medyo hybrid na ngayon. Si Kuya Yo, balik studio. Ang ating kaibigang si Attorney Flomi Javier Diza ay via Zoom pa rin sa ating linya mula sa Bay Area. Magandang gabi po sa iyo, Attorney Diza.
Magandang gabi, Johan. Gusto ko yung si Kuya Yo, nasa studio, balik studio, ano? Sa lahat ng mga viewers and listeners natin, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. We wish you that you are well and stay safe as always.
Attorney, last na nag-usap tayo, itong proclamation ng ating Pangulo ang ating pinag-usapan at medyo mainit nga issue na ito. And at this point, ito ay na-implement na nga at lumabas na. Attorney, kailan po ba ito sinimulan at kailan po ba ito matatapos, itong proclamation ng ating Pangulo na isususpend or sinuspend ang ilang larangan ng immigration?
Yes, ang proclamation na ito tinatawag ng proclamation ng ating Pangulo, suspending immigration in the United States. Ano? At ito ay naging effective siya noong April 23 of this year. At ang sinasabi dun sa proclamation na yon ay valid siya for 60 days unless in consultation with Department of Homeland Security at Department of Labor and State. Ano? 50 days pwede nilang pag-usapan ulit if they're going to extend or modify this proclamation.
Marami nga ang napapalaman, attorney, sa proclamation na ito. How do I know if I'm affected by this proclamation? Mga kababayan natin, ano po ba ang mga parameters nito para malaman nila na sila ay apektado?
Yes, based on the wordings ng proclamation, Kuya Yo, this only applies for individuals seeking to enter the U.S. As an immigrant who is outside the United States on or before, or rather on or after April 23 of this year, no? At wala silang valid immigrant visa on that date, or wala silang tinatawag yung boarding letter, or wala silang advance parole if they have a pending adjustment at they are outside the United States on advance parole. So kung wala sila nun, then the proclamation applies to them.
Okay, so maraming ang
in addition to that, there's also includes several exemption dito sa proclamation na to.
Sino po ang at ano po yung mga exemptions na ito, attorney?
Yes, yung proclamation na to, as we mentioned, ulitin lang natin sa mga viewers and listeners natin, this proclamation bans, or suspends yung pag-enter ng mga immigrant dito sa US, but the following does not apply. Right? Unang-una, syempre yung mga green card holder. So halimbawa, Johan at kababayan natin ay nagbabakasyon sa Pilipinas or saan man, they are green card holder at nung naging effective itong proclamation na to, right, at nasa labas sila ng US, this proclamation does not apply to them. So yung mga green card holder, they're able to come back anytime pag na-lift na itong tinatawag nating quarantine or itong lockdown na to.
Kung meron silang masasakyan.
Kung may masasakyan, that's correct. Number two would be individuals and their spouses and children, seeking to enter the U.S. on immigrant visa as a medical doctor or nurses or any healthcare professionals who are coming here to perform the spread of COVID-19. So kasama sila doon. In other words, meron silang existing na petition, right? At they're being petitioned as a medical doctor or nurses, and current na yun, tuloy ang kanilang pagpunta sa US. Also, this exemption applies for people who are on a what do you call this, EB-5, Immigrant Investor Program. Sa mga asawa ng US citizen at mga anak ng US citizen, exempted din sila. So, for example, the petition yung asawa nyo or anak nyo at kay US citizen, they're able to come here. And the difference here sa mga kababayan natin ay hindi to applicable dun sa mga lawful permanent residents. So, yung mga green card holders petitioning their spouse and their minor children, unfortunately, they are included dito sa ban na to or suspension na to. They are not able to come here until ma-lift itong suspension. Now, we go on with the enumeration kasi medyo marami ito. Kuya Yo, ano, yung as I mentioned, aside from the spouse and children, kasama rin dito yung mga members of the U.S. Armed Forces at people who are coming here, to work in the national interest of the United States. So, may mga at least 9 exemption dito sa proclamation na to, and they can find it through our website or through our Facebook page at Reeves Immigration Law Group or sa FJ Diza U.S. Immigration Law Attorney.
At ang website mga kababayan ng ating mga kaibigan sa Reeves Immigration Law Group ay www.rreeves.com. So attorney, ito ay nag-a-apply sa immigrant visa. Yung mga non-immigrant visas hindi kasama dito.
Yes, that's a really good question. Kuya Yo, dahil ang non-immigrant visa hindi kasama. Kagaya halimbawa ng people coming here to as a tourist, yung B1, B2, people coming here to study dun sa tinatawag natin na student visa, or dun sa mga fiancé, kasi marami nagtatanong sa amin, kasama ba sila sa mga fiancé, yung sa bandon sa fiancé. The answer is no, because they are considered non-immigrant, no? They're supposed to come here and continue the interview. Pero for clarification sa mga listeners natin, as of now, hindi pa rin nagkakandak ng interview ang embassy, no? So even with or without the suspension, hindi pa rin, kumbaga mayroon pa rin continuous na suspension sa pagkandak ng interview consulates abroad, worldwide.
Okay, so mga kababayan, nasagot na ni Attorney Flomi Javier Diza, partner at Reeves Immigration Law Group. Ilan sa mga itinanong nyo yan? Paano daw yung mga dadating dito na attorney? Paano kung yung applicant ay meron ng approved H-1B petition, pero hindi pa siya nai-interview nga dahil nga sarado ang ating mga consulate or consular offices abroad. Is it possible na pagka nagkaroon na sila ng opportunity na ma-interview, magkaroon ng konting additional questions, additional requirements because of this proclamation, or totally hindi sila talaga affected nito?
Well, if you're going to look at the classification ng H-1B, it's considered as a non-immigrant. So in other words, hindi dapat sila affected. But may section dun sa proclamation na to, I believe section 6 ng proclamation ng ating Pangulo states that additional measures will be evaluated consistent with the objective ng proclamation. If we're going to look at the objective ng proclamation na to, is to of course prioritize ng hiring ng US workers. So at this time, kasi wala pang ang interview, we don't know the additional measures that they're going to do, but definitely I don't think that they require additional recruitment, because otherwise that would be changing the law. So what we're saying is it may or may not. We will find out when the embassies conduct or resume the conducting interviews worldwide.
Isa din, attorney, sa mga naitatanong dito, how about those individuals who are seeking asylum to the United States? Apektado po ba sila nito?
Yung mga taong pupunta sa US seeking refuge or asylum in the US because they have experienced persecution sa kanilang home country because of their political belief or race or religion or political opinion, and the government is unwilling and unable to protect them. They come into the US to seek asylum, as we call it. They are not affected. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin yan. So yung nasa border at people inside the United States, hindi po sila affected.
Nako, maraming salamat, attorney. Sigurado maraming nalilinawan. Pero ito po naman na attorney, na mga meron na silang immigrant visa. But because of what happened, because the COVID-19, nagkaroon ng mga restrictions ang travel sa Pilipinas lang, hindi labas-pasok ang mga flights. Paano kung hindi sila nakalipad at pumunta ng US, yung kanilang immigrant visa ba ay mapapaso o anong mangyayari dito, attorney?
Yes, marami mga clients din nagtatanong ng ganyan dahil siyempre nung let's say na interview na sila ng mga around January or February or even December, at usually pag na-approve sila, binibigyan sila ng 6 months ng validity ng kanilang visa, di ba? So they're given that period to leave their home country and to enter in the US as an immigrant. So technically, pwede pa sila mag-stay doon and then abutan sila ng lockdown sa Pilipinas, for example. Now, let's say ang validity ng kanilang what do you call this, visa is from January to June, kasi usually 6 months yan, naabutan sila ng lockdown in March or April, they can still use that visa to enter the US because they have been issued an immigrant visa already and they're not affected by this proclamation. So, ang problema lang kasi ngayon dyan, Kuya Yo, is that wala nga silang masakyan, as you said, at nakakatakot kasi baka, let's say, may stopover sila, you know, at pagdating dito, ma-quarantine pa sila for a period of time. And those are the things that people think. Now, kung magpapasuna yung kanilang visa, let's say, June at wala pa silang, takot pa silang umalis, my recommendation is, of course, contact the embassy and hopefully there is an emergency, what do you call this, hotline sa mga embassies to extend or at least maka-extend yung kanilang visa. Kasi otherwise, kung napasuna yan, most likely the what do you call this, the airlines, you know, or even the TSA at the airport won't let them in, or they won't let them fly to the US pag they have an expired visa.
Mm-hmm. So, mga kaibigan, heed that advice from ang advice ni Attorney Flomi Diza. Contact the embassy and hopefully dyan nga sa Pilipinas ay merong hotline. We'll try to find out. Yun po naman, Attorney, na mga applicants for an adjustment of status. Biglang inabutan sila, nasa labas sila of the United States. And then all of a sudden, inabutan sila nitong mga lockdown na ito and then COVID-19 restrictions. Hindi sila makabalik. If they have an advance parole in their possession, they'll be able to return to the United States, right?
Yes, that's a really good question because they're not entering as a green card or immigrant.
Yes.
And if they have advance parole issued before the proclamation, they're able to come here. They're able to use the advance parole. Usually naman yan valid for 1 year. So don't be afraid to use that to come back to the US and resume your adjustment of status application.
Ayun, okay. So I'm sure maraming nabahala regarding that because yung status na yan ay of course ay hindi pa granted yung mga inyong mga ina-apply at nasa labas kayo at inabutan kayo ditong proclamation na ito. Kaya magandang maitanong nyo ang mga ganitong questions, mga kababayan. Attorney, ito po namang of course yung mga permanent residents na nandito sa United States. How about kung yung kanilang mga yung spouse, yung mga anak nila ay nasa labas pa, nasa Pilipinas. Are they able to do something na at this point in time na merong itong proclamation na ito ay in effect? Makakahabol ba sila? Makakapunta ba sila dito? Yung mga anak at asawa ng mga permanent...
They are considered as preference category. They are not included in the exemption. If you look at the wordings ng proclamation, ay ang exempted lang dyan ay spouse or minor children of U.S. citizens. Unfortunately, sa mga anak or asawa ng lawful permanent residents or yung tinatawag nating green card holder, they are not exempted. So in other words, kung nakompleto na nila yung, let's say, nag-file yung green card holder para sa asawa niya at meron silang 5 minor children na kasama dun sa petition, at naghintay halimbawa ng 1 taon, 2 taon para ma-approve at ma-process ito sa National Visa Center and this ready and all the documentations are completed, fees are paid, civil documents were submitted kagaya ng birth certificate and marriage certificate ng mga beneficiaries and they're just waiting for that interview. Unfortunately, kasama sila dun sa proclamation na hindi makakarating dito. So my recommendation sa mga kababayan natin in that situation is continue processing the case. As I said, hindi naman automatic yan. Pag pinetition mo ang asawa mo, nandito na kaagad kinabukasan. You still have to wait for the approval and then yung sinasabi natin processing sa NVC. Siyempre yung mga nakakaano lang dito, siyempre yung matagal nang nakompleto yung process, di ba? Naghihintay lang sana ng interview. Usually, takes about 1 month to 3 months from the completion sa National Visa Center. Yun, i-hold muna until such time na mag-expire yung proclamation and hopefully, mag-expire na ito ng June 23 of this year.
So mga kababayan, yun nga pala, ang apektado ang mga spouse at mga anak ng mga green card holders ditong proclamation na ito. And kamo attorney, June 23rd, expected itong mag-expire?
Yes, that's actually the proclamation. It should expire, but there's also a provision dito sa proclamation that the Homeland Security in coordination with the Department of Labor and Department of State, they may extend or modify. Yun ang nakakatakot kasi hindi natin alam kung hanggang kailan itong suspension na to. Hopefully, we don't know. I mean, there are lawsuits that are filed. I don't know if they're going to favor this proclamation or against the proclamation. So it's a good idea to continuously monitor yung sitwasyon na to through this radio program natin at sa mga website natin and social media natin.
Mhm. Mga kaibigan, nasa kalagitnaan pa rin po tayo ng ating programang Immigration Law on Your Side. And of course, ang pandemic ay tuloy-tuloy despite the fact that dito sa Las Vegas, sa Nevada, ay phase 1 reopening na. Pero ang pangangailangan siyempre ng mga frontliners, mga healthcare workers ay kailangan pa rin. So, attorney, ito ba mga frontliners, mga nurses, mga doctors, kamukha na nabanggit nyo kanina, exempted sila dito sa proclamation na ito. If they have something going on with immigration, they can continue doing that, right?
Correct. Yeah, that is a good thing because they are exempted. Para silang asawa or anak ng US citizen, di ba? So, one of the 9 exemptions that we enumerated a while ago, and that's a good thing kasi kailangan natin ng medical doctors at nurses and any healthcare professionals to come here and help combat the COVID-19. At alam naman natin there's a scarcity of medical professionals, not only in the US but I think it's a worldwide problem, especially with this pandemic. So they're given the opportunity to come here. In fact, pag-usapan natin later on the updates that there's an ongoing healthcare additional visa for them, so ituloy lang yan at magandang segue natin dito, Kuya Yos, sa mga viewers and listeners natin. So let's say pinetition kayo ng tatay nyo, let's say he's a US citizen and you're over 21 and you waited for like 12 years, 12 years yung paghihintay at na-process na ninyo sa National Visa Center yung process at naghihintay na lang po kayo ng interview. And ang trabaho nyo sa Pilipinas ay doctor or let's say nurses po kayo doon or nasa medical field po kayo. What we advise is that we need to write the NVC, the National Visa Center and Embassy and make an argument that you're exempted because you are coming here to work in the medical field. Diba? So kung titignan mo kasi yung petition, it's coming from the father, or from the grandparent, but one of the beneficiaries, yung anak or yung one of the grandchildren or 2 or 3 of them, are in the medical field, make an argument that you are exempted because you are coming here to work in the medical field. So a lot of people does not know that. Akala nila directly lang dapat na pinetition ka ng hospital, or facility or institute or medical institution para makaparating dito. Our argument is that it extends to a family petition whose beneficiary or derivative beneficiaries are in the medical fields.
Wow, magandang balita yan, attorney, kasi marami sa mga nagsimulang family petitions na ito was years ago na ang beneficiary na ito ay hindi pa sila nurse, baka elementary pa lang sila noon or high school. Ngayon ay sila ay nurse na at syempre medyo mahaba-haba pa ang hinihintay, pero dahil nga by virtue of this fact that you are a healthcare professional at kailangan ka dito sa Amerika, ang sinasabi ng ating attorney ay you can make that argument na ikaw ay kailangan dito sa Amerika. Nako, maganda nga po yan. How about, attorney, yung mga anak nila, yung spouse nila ng itong mga frontliners na ito?
The spouses and children of these healthcare professionals and those performing research working to fight the COVID-19 are exempt on the proclamation. They are also exempted.
Wow. Okay, so magandang balita yan, mga kaibigan. At least nalaman nyo dito. How about, attorney, at this point here in the United States, we need more than just healthcare workers. Marami tayong on the essential business front. Nandyan yung ating food, nandyan yung energy, nandyan yung transportation. Kailangan din natin yan dito sa Amerika. Can foreign workers avail of that fact na sila po ay skilled on these particular fronts?
Yes, that's a really good question because if you're going to read closely yung proclamation na to, those coming here, as you mentioned, to perform work essential to combating and recovering from or helping, the the research on the COVID-19 medication, they're exempted. And again, that's going to be an argument po ninyo or sa abogado ninyo that you are included in this exemption. And it's a good idea then, as I mentioned kanina dun sa mga medical professionals, you can also make an argument that you are on this field, production of food, energy, transportation, and stuff like that. You can make an argument, and hopefully, ang wish natin, as an immigration attorney and with the immigration community, ang magiging problema dito at sakit ng ulo natin would be kung ma-extend pa to, because I think yung June 23 is just around the corner already, di ba? So, matatapos na. Whether there's a proclamation or not, I mean, we keep on telling our clients, may suspension of immigration services, the interviews, and, what do you call this, person-to-person contact. Even here in the US, mayroong continuous na hindi mo na sila nag-interview ng mga applicants, even the InfoPass or biometrics are suspended. The same thing with interviews on the consulates worldwide, na-suspend pa rin yan. So, as I said, hopefully this will end in June, and by that time, matapos na ang problema natin. But the problem arises, and as I mentioned, if this extends beyond June 23 and beyond November, kasi alam natin yung November is also fast approaching, and that's going to be the presidential elections in the United States. And let's wait and see.
Talking about the U.S. economy, of course, marami ding mga nag-apply as investors sa mga EB5, kamukha nung na-mention yung kanina, attorney, that they are exempted as well. So they can safely argue that they're going to bring jobs to the United States. Ganun po ba yun?
Correct, because as we mentioned din, yung mga EB5 na to, Kuya Yo, at saka kapakanan ng ating viewers and listeners, ito yung mga, they're coming here who are investing 500,000 or 1 million, dito, and infusing money to our economy. They are actually exempted from this proclamation.
Okay. So, I'm sure mga kababayan na kayo po ay nag-iisip na ngayon kung paano nyo may argue sa immigration na kayo ay kailangan dito sa Amerika. So, attorney, how can one demonstrate na siya ay kailangan dito sa Amerika and of national interest ang presence niya dito sa Amerika? O ano yung tip nyo pwede nyo maibigay sa kanila or sa kanilang mga attorneys?
Yes, this is going to be a discretion ng USCIS or ng consular officer whether or not you're coming here would be in the national interest of the United States. I mean, one of the arguments that we see here sa mga kababayan natin are people working in the medical field, which they're already considered as exemption. Aside from that, of course, if there are no criminal history ng ating mga aplikante or they're coming here to care for a family member na walang kasama dito, those are humanitarian considerations that would also bring, make a very good argument before the consular officer.
All right, mga kababayan, patuloy po yung nakikinig at nanonood sa Immigration Law on Your Side. Hatid po sa atin ang ating mga kaibigan from Reeves Immigration Law Group. Kasama po natin ngayon, syempre, ang partner at Reeves Immigration Law Group, Flomi Javier Diza, dito po sa PHLV Radio. Kami po ay magbabalik sa ilang saglit po lamang dito po sa ating Immigration Law on Your Side.
Reeves Immigration Law Group has been representing immigrants for nearly 40 years. Reeves Immigration Law Group has been fighting for its clients through experience and expertise. With immigration lawyers you can access at reasonable fees, even on Saturday. Payment plans are also available. Call us for your immigration solutions. We can do worldwide telephone and Skype consultations. Reeves Immigration Law Group, 1-800-795-8009. Reeves Immigration Law Group has offices in Los Angeles, San Francisco, China, and Philippines. See us at www.rreeves.com. Reeves Immigration Law Group, 1-800-795-8009.
Mga kababayan, patuloy po kayong nanonood sa Reeves Immigration Law Group's Immigration Law on Your Side. Kasama niyo si Kuya Yo, balik studio ngayon mga kaibigan, pero si ating attorney Flomi Javier Diza via Zoom, remote broadcast po mga kaibigan from the Bay Area. Reeves Immigration Law Group, meron pong opisina doon sa San Francisco area, Los Angeles, Makati, and China. 1-800-795-8009 ang kanilang telepono. Tumawag na po kung meron po kayong mga kailangan ikonsulta hinggil sa immigration immigration. Attorney, mabalik po tayo dito sa kwentuhan natin tungkol dito sa proclamation ng ating Pangulo. Sa mga light tuners po natin, yan po ang ating pinag-uusapan ngayon at na-outline na ng ating attorney ngayon ang mga exemptions at mga pwede pong mangyari. And merong isang tanong dito, attorney, itong mga nag-a-apply ng immigrant petitions, the I-130, applying for the I-140s, yung mga employers na ganito, under this particular proclamation, nakatigil din po ba ito o pwedeng i-apply lang?
Pwedeng i-apply lang, Kuya Yo, at viewers and listeners natin. So yung mga nagpapatumpik-tumpik pa na mag-file ng petition sa kanilang family members, either asawa yan, anak, even parents, i-file na kaagad kasi as I said, once you file the petition, there's a processing time. Kahit immediate relative mo yan, you're a US citizen and you're petitioning spouse and children, it's not automatic, di ba, na makakarating sila dito or ma-approve ka agad. There's a process. And if you look at the processing time, it takes about 6 to 8 months before it's going to get approved, especially if the beneficiary is outside the US. And there's that processing time of about, a year to 1.5 years probably, and before they're going to get the interview at the consulate or the embassy. File it now. We don't know if there are changes, especially, as I said, if the president continues to suspend immigration. And as we discussed in the past, itong chain migration, pinag-iinitan nito ng kanilang advisor, including the president. Sinasabi niya na petitionin mo yung anak mo, 5 yung niya, grandchildren niya and everything, and grandchildren will petition the uncle and aunt, which is not true. I mean, immediate relative lang, anak, asawa, at magulang. And even, the brothers from the Philippines and siblings, takes about 23 years, and many people are really discouraged in doing that. But as we mentioned, they are not affected. In fact, even with the lockdown and closure ng ating USCIS interviews or in-person contact, patuloy na tumatanggap ang USCIS ng mga applications kagaya ng I-130s and I-140s. And also to remind our clients then na nakikinig that we are open, although we are following the CDC rules and national and local guidelines on how to combat this COVID-19. We are working remotely. We are working on your cases. We are here to serve. And sa mga listeners natin, I reiterate that we do free consultation. We do it Zoom and telephone. We don't do in-person consultation at the moment, but there are many ways to communicate with you, our clients.
Attorney, how about yung mga ready nang mag-apply na maging American or US citizens, yung mag-apply ng naturalization? Pwede pa rin po ba ito at this point?
Yes, it's really very timely if they're eligible already. As we mentioned, yung mga nakakuha ng green card through marriage, they can already apply 2 years and 9 months provided they are still together. And those other people who obtain the green card through other means, they are able to file 4 years and 9 months. And again, even with the suspension ng what do you call this, in-person interviews, patuloy na tumatanggap po ang USCIS sa mga applications kagaya ng naturalization applications.
Katulad po ng nasabi ni Attorney on our last episode, hindi tumigil ang mundo, ang pag-ikot ng mundo. Tuloy-tuloy mga kaibigan yan. Attorney, mabalik tayo dun sa pinag-usapan natin dun sa mga healthcare workers. And nabalitaan namin na fairly recently, there was a bill that was introduced in Congress. Itong Workforce Resilience Act na magbe-benefit naman ang ilang sa mga ating mga kababayan ng mga healthcare workers. Attorney, ano po ba itong act na ito?
Well, just to clarify, we're going to discuss this one, but caveat sa ating mga listeners, this is still an act. It's a proposal coming from the Senate, U.S. Senate and U.S. House of Representatives. So may dalawang version, exactly similar versions nito. This is a bill, it's not a law yet, that seeks to enhance the healthcare workforce during this COVID-19 global pandemic, by recapturing at least 40,000 unused immigrant visas for foreign medical doctors and nurses, as well as additional unused visas for the spouses and children. So malaking bagay yan kasi 40,000 yan, di ba? So hopefully watch out if this is going to be a law, and hopefully it will be signed by the president. We acknowledge that, as we mentioned, there is a scarcity and need for medical professionals in the United States.
Mhm. Wow. So abangan lang mga kaibigan, pretty sure we will give you updates dito po sa immigration law on your side. And once again, on the website of Reeves Immigration Law Group, which is www.rreeves.com, and syempre sa kanilang mga Facebook page, sa kanilang social media pages, and of course kay Attorney Flomi Diza. Attorney, napakabilis ng oras at napakasaya kong nagkwentuhan tayo ngayon ng mga updates. Ma-update nga natin, Attorney, ating mga listeners and viewers regarding dito sa ating mga opisina, sa mga immigration courts, sa USCIS. I'm sure nakasarap pa sila ngayon, but what's the update on these offices?
Yung sa immigration courts, they're closed until the end of this month, so May 30th. And of course, titignan natin kung extend ulit nila yan. Regarding USCIS interviews, kagaya ng pag-interview sa spousal petition, naturalization, citizenship, biometrics appointment, InfoPass appointments, they are still closed until they said that they're going to reopen in June 4th of next month na. That includes USCIS offices, asylum offices. So patuloy po tayong makikinig sa programa nito para sa updates. At of course, check again our website kung ma-extend po ang closures ng mga nasabing offices.
Yung internationally, Attorney, yung mga US consulates natin?
They still remain closed, Kuya Yo, at abangan din natin kung kailan sila mag-announce ng reopening.
Mm-hmm. At sa mga listeners and viewers natin dyan sa Pilipinas, surely you'll be able to find out as well from sa Embahada po ng Estados Unidos dyan po sa Metro Manila. Attorney, bago po tayo magtapos, baka meron pa po kayong ibang gustong masabi sa ating mga listeners and viewers.
invite ko lang lahat, Kuya, at maraming salamat sa iyong pag-imbita sa programang ito. We continue to update ang mga kababayan natin, listeners natin who have immigration concerns. Nasaan man po kayo, we are going to continue to monitor the situation and how it affects yung immigration applications po ninyo or petitions. Masasabi lang po natin ang Reeves Immigration Law Group, we have several offices. We continue to render immigration service sa mga kababayan natin, whether you are here in the US, whether you are outside the US. We help you and assist you to make a smooth transition or smooth process ng inyong application. Masabi ko lang natin, itong proclamation na to, I know it's going to be very difficult sa mga naghintay, lalo na yung maghintay ng mga 20 years, even 12 years is a very long time. If you look at the visa bulletin, ang Pilipinas ang isa sa pinakamahabang waiting time, special mention po tayo dyan, kasama ang India, Mexico, China, the Philippines, and the Dominican Republic, and napaka-untimely kasi din if you're going to look at it bilang isang immigration attorney at bilang immigration advocate. It's hard to accept that you have waited this much time, your client has waited this much time, especially if they're coming here to care for, let's say, the grandparents or ailing family members. They're expected to come here to help financially with their financial condition. But as we mentioned, we are hoping that this proclamation will end by June. If not, hopefully it will be going to question the American Immigration Lawyers Association, for which I am a member, will continue to question and bring lawsuit to the government to make sure that the laws will not be abused by whoever is in power. Having said that, maraming salamat ulit, Kuya Yo, at sa PHLV Radio. Patuloy po nating tangkilikin lahat po ng programa ng PHLV Radio habang nasa quarantine po tayo.
Maraming salamat po, Attorney Flomi Javier Diza, partner at Reeves Immigration Law Group. Mga kaibigan, nandoon po siya sa San Francisco, sa Bay Area. At si Kuya Yo naman ay nandito na ngayon sa studio ng PHLV Radio. At maraming salamat po sa mga nakikinig, mga bagong listeners and viewers natin sa ating mga platforms. And mga kababayan, bago po ako magtapos, ako po ay nag-aanyaya sa inyo na panoorin ang Immigration Law on Your Side sa ating bagong PHLV Radio channel sa Amazon Fire TV. Meron na pong channel ang PHLV Radio sa Amazon Fire. Look it up, download it. Nandun po kami ni Attorney Flomi Javier Diza. At nasa widescreen na po tayo, Attorney.
That's good to know, Kuya Yo. I'll start doing that now.
Yes. So mga kaibigan, ito po si Kuya Yo kasama si Attorney Flomi Javier Diza ng Reeves Immigration Law Group para po sa isa na namang edisyon ng ating Immigration Law on Your Side. We'll see you next time.
Reeves Immigration Law Group has just brought you Immigration Law on Your Side, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Pacific on PHLV Radio.